Welcome. Thank you for tuning in to Response to COVID-19. Now, on Saturday, May 9, the Prime Minister, Dr. Keith Rowley, he outlined the first three phases of the relaxing of COVID-19 stay-at-home measures. Specifically, though, I want to take us back to this moment in the media briefing.
The Minister of Health has granted approval to three of our major commercial activities for reasons which are little more than what I just mentioned. Because of our position in the international marketplace, we have taken the position now that the Minister has granted approval for the tobacco export business, WITCO, to prepare and resume operations largely for export. We've also done the same approval for cement, TCL, and the New Iron. Those three businesses have been granted approval for startup on Monday, is it? On Monday, and they'll move slowly or even more quickly into where they were.
And yes, here we are. Thank you once more for tuning in. I'm DK Roster. We are happy to have Guillermo Rojo, General Manager of Trinidad Cement Limited, one of those three companies mentioned by the Prime Minister. Good afternoon, Mr. Rojo. How are you at this point in time?
I am very good. Thank you for inviting us. It's a pleasure to be here.
Our pleasure that you actually agreed to this conversation. But I'm wondering, though, what did stay-at-home measures mean for company activities?
Sorry, I didn't hear you well. Can you repeat your question?
What did stay-at-home measures mean for company activities? And I know that Minister Stuart Young, he spoke to some companies having to maintain kilns, and I think I read somewhere there was also continuation of some port operations.
Yes, so when the government asked TCL to stop operation, we had a large experience from Cemex operations in countries like Spain or Italy, where we suffered very, very badly with this pandemic. So we knew this was a very serious pandemic, and we basically decided to sit down as soon as the government has requested us to do so. However, we were authorized to continue operating our kilns as well as our port. However, we decided to sit down our kilns, assuming that would allow us to operate only for essential jobs and delivering cement with 20% of the normal labor force. So we were very focused on bringing the less number of people possible to the plan to allow this slowing the spread of the virus.
What have conversations with local and international customers been like?
So we had the TCL export half of the production of the plant exported to 20 different countries around CARICOM and outside of CARICOM as well. We last year generated 250 million TPs, so US dollars, because all our exports are in dollars, that we transformed into TPs basically to pay our employees and as well as our contractors. Many of these jobs throughout this pandemic were essential, like hospitals and roads and drainage works that had to be fixed before the rains come. So we continue delivering with the authorization of the government to those essential jobs throughout the pandemic crisis. And we basically remain vigilant and prepared to resume to work business as normal in this new COVID mode as soon as we were requested by the government.
And part of the reason I asked that question is wondering whether or not demand and supply have kept pace with each other, because locally we've had the experience of the price of a bag of cement jumping in some places from $45 going to all of $102. And it may not be that there isn't the availability of the cement, but people have been stockpiling, holding, and raising those prices.
Well, I believe there was a temporary mismatch of offer and demand, because when people were locked down home and the houses were assumed as essential jobs and they were allowed to continue operating, I believe many people decided to take advantage of that time to build something at their places. They came to the harbors, but the harbors did not have cement because we were not allowed to distribute or they did not have blocks or other construction materials. So I believe that imbalance between offer and demand temporarily created those pricing differences. But TCL has never, through this pandemic, has not changed the price of cement. And we were happy to resume to work because again, we balanced the demand and prices came back to where they were supposed to be, at the same level that before the pandemic.
Have you been hearing any of those stories from outside of Trinidad and Tobago? Yes, we know that there would have been a downturn in production with regard to many countries basically closing down measures or turning down measures. But have you had the same kind of conversations with customers from outside?
Yes, of course. Throughout this crisis, we have been in very close contact with our customers locally and internationally. We have basically done our best to continue providing only for essential jobs because this was a health matter. We knew how critical it was to follow the health protocols and we stick to it because we don't want Trinidad to be as Spain or other countries that suffered this crisis.
All right. So, as the Prime Minister said, TCL is one of those first companies who have returned to work. I'm wondering what has been put in place to make it safer for the workers, the employees, either physical or process. What changes have you seen or implemented at TCL?
So I would say that this is a new TCL. Everything has changed completely when one comes to Question Day. Most of our employees are remain kept home. Everybody who can do remote work is being encouraged to do so. So very few people coming to the plant. And it's amazing because people, I mean, things continue to operate as normal. There's no drop in productivity or anything. So there is a lot of positive in this crisis and a lot of learning. Beyond that, the company has developed 52 health protocols designed for COVID, basically taking information from the World Health Organization as well as other operations worldwide and TEMEX experiences. And we have put together these 52 protocols that we have applied in all our operations. Just to give you some examples, for example, the screening of temperature, everybody who comes into any one of our facilities has to go through the temperature screening. Every employee entering the plant before we would come in, and now we have a recognition of codes, so there is no contact with anybody entering the plant. Another one, we have a system that allows us to open the doors with our feet, so we don't have to use our hands anymore. Another one is that we have quarantine rooms in case somebody is identified to have COVID symptoms. We are kept in this room. Meanwhile, we take measures. That as well as other very interesting new apps that we have come out with that we would have never utilized or developed had not we had this pandemic. Like for example, we have an app where all our employees can report their learning system anonymously. They can report their students, and the company will contact them, the medical services of the company, to advise them on how to proceed. So we pretty much implemented those 52 protocols that, by the way, are open in our web pages for everybody to have a look at them and use them to their benefit.
All right, so we want to actually take a break at this point in time. We want to come back with you answering whether or not some of these investments will affect the bottom line. But at the same time, we are coming back with more. We are speaking with Guillermo Rojo, General Manager of Trinidad Cement Limited, and we are rebuilding through COVID-19 right here on TTT, Talk City 91.1 FM, and on TTT Live Online on Facebook. Do stay with us. Welcome back. This is Response to COVID-19, and we are discussing TCL, Rebuilding Through COVID-19, with Guillermo Rojo, the General Manager of TCL. Now, just before we went to break, Mr. Rojo, you were speaking about some of the initiatives that you have put in place to safeguard against the COVID-19 on the plant. My question to you is, will this affect the bottom line, the people who are going to be purchasing bags of cement, and if so, how much?
So it definitely did affect our bottom line. Cemex TCL had to borrow money basically to be able to pay to our workers during this COVID period, because there was no inflows and there was these outflows. But we borrowed money and we were able to comply with the commitment that we had with each one of our employees, keeping all the workforce that we have at TCL. Beyond that, we have, of course, established new rules and new spending rules, and we're much more disciplined, and only expenses on things that are absolutely essential for the businesses, as well as investment capex, have been allowed during this period. Because again, there was a cash flow issue temporary. And on top of that, we had a signal from the management, and basically the top senior management of the company voluntarily decided, myself included, to reduce our salaries between 15 and 25%, which I believe represents like a signal very clear to the rest of the employees. We are going through rough times, and we are the first one to take the hit.
And I can see the workers, employees appreciating the fact that you have taken that hit to help engage them or have them in an environment where they're still employees. But one of the things, though, we spoke with someone earlier who was saying that some things may seem cheaper on the shelves, but when you look at them in a broader perspective, they cost more to Trinidad and Tobago. Now, I don't know where your price point or the price point for TCL products fits against competitors, but what is the important at this point in time for the recovery of the economy to buy local, to build local?
Yeah, definitely. I believe any country, and moreover under a post-crisis period, we have to trust on the local producer, local manufacturer. Not talking about cement, but anything. Of course, the customer has to demand same price, same quality, at least. But I think that is the very clear case in cement, and I believe people should support local, because when we are able to buy local, we are fixing employment in Trinidad. Every time we import product to Trinidad, we are exporting jobs to Turkey, to China, to other countries. The other way around, when we are able to export goods, we are bringing jobs to Trinidad. So I would like to encourage everybody in Trinidad to support local, as we do. Contracting, I mean, all our contractors are local, and we're very happy with that. And that's how we will continue to operate, with local contractors.
With regard to your operations, one of the things that you were doing even before the pandemic was research and development into greener cements and reducing the carbon footprint. Where are you with that at this point?
Okay, so we are about, and this is almost news that I am disclosing right now. We're launching a new product to the market in the next month, and that product is going to be 20% less pollutant, let's say, than the normal cement. Normal cement usually generates CO2 by two factors. One is the fossil fuels that we use to heat the limestone to turn it into clinker. So that when we burn those fossil fuels, we generate CO2. So these new cements use other raw materials that happen to be in Trinidad. And therefore, we are going to use more of these raw materials, which basically will reduce the use from TCL to use foreign exchange, will increase the jobs locally, and on top of that will be more ecologic because it will generate less CO2. So there is plenty pluses in this new product. Apart from the product, we invested last year about $500,000 in a new burner in the process that will allow us in the next few months to use alternative liquid fuels on our kiln. Right now it is 100% gas, and we are going to substitute part of the energy that we use to waste, liquid waste that comes from fried oils or car old oils, that kind of things that now oftentimes is dumped in the environment.
In terms of getting that information, how will you, I'm not trying to get into the company profile too much because you said it's a month away, but sometimes there's a new product, people are a bit hesitant to say, okay, well, I'm going to try it because they're not sure whether or not it'll work the same way as the cement that they've, or the products that they've been using so long. What would you tell them to allay those fears?
Okay, I have disclosed you some part of the information. I cannot disclose you the whole thing, but we have a plenty set of very, very strong arguments. So it is ecologic. It is going to be the value offer in terms of price is going to be very, very interesting for customers. It has some setting differences, but overall, I truly believe that based on the standards that we have seen in other countries throughout the world, I believe this new product is going to give our customers at least the chance to choose. Now they only have one type of cement, basically. So they will be able to choose whether they want one cement for one use or a different type of cement for a different purpose. So that's going to be plenty process. Again, I cannot disclose you the whole thing because we have to keep the momentum with our customers. But you will see soon on your hardware.
We look forward to that. But one of the things that the pandemic has brought about is this disruption where people have been more willing to try different things. So possibly that works in your favor. But also with regard to trying different things, what are your thoughts on using concrete to pave and pave roads versus using asphalt?
So based on Cemex experience worldwide in many countries in Europe, in North Africa, the use of concrete has shown to be a solution that in the life cycle of the road, it remains 20 times longer than an asphalt road because it is not so much affected. I mean, what the ready mix gives to the pavement is a strength. The asphalt paving is flexible. So when you load plenty stress on the asphalt, it deforms. You can see it at the entrance of Port of Spain and different places. It is deformed. The ready mix, that does not happen with the ready mix. It remains much longer. So we truly believe that there is plenty knowledge from Cemex to bring into Trinidad to develop those kind of projects. We have a very good example and a showroom, real showroom, next to our ready mix plant in Guanapo with Home Solution, a very nice place where all the pavement has been done in ready mix.
Now, strength, you spoke about strength and durability in terms of how long it lasts. Those are two very important factors. What do you have to say about the price?
We will make the price competitive. I don't think price is an issue. I think our main difficulties is as you mentioned before, is the inertia. People is very much used to use asphalt, and changing that culture takes some time. And people has to learn how to extend, how to use the ready mix. Is a new use for them. But we have plenty good arguments to push that in Trinidad, and I think that Trinidad really needs it in its infrastructure, as we all know.
What are some of the factors that would say, okay, well, I should use this instead? Or do you need to prepare the surface differently in order to be able to pave the roadway like that?
Well, yes, it is. I mean, the design of the road is differently from the beginning because the thicknesses and the layers underneath, you have to prepare them. It is completely different from the beginning. So it does need the technique, but we are more than willing to bring people with the skills and the expertise to share that to specific construction companies in Trinidad, so that they can develop those skills and in the end do the job. We are always supporting local, so we want local constructors to learn the way to do those payments, and we want them to execute.
Now, moving forward, what would you like to let people know about TCL, the operations of TCL, message to people during this time?
Okay, I would like to let people know that TCL is a Trinidad company, because even though it is part of a large group, which is Cemex, that basically give us two sides. So we have the heritage TCL, which is very, very important, not only in Trinidad, but also in the Caribbean. We are the brand that built the Caribbean, that created the jobs, that support the employment locally, that brought the foreign exchange. And on the other side, we have Cemex, that is bringing new procedures, that is forcing us, TCL, to be much more competitive, much more productive, who is bringing us on Sunday, we made 1 year without long-term incident, which is huge achievement for us. And that is because we are taking learning from elsewhere and applying them to Trinidad. So I believe this is the new CIMEX TCL, and it's much stronger and is meant to last for another 60 years at least in the market. So that's what I would like to share with the people. So they have to support local, because we will be, and we are as competitive and will keep on building the Caribbean.
Well, there's some information that I saw on the website, and in terms of even like the research and development into greener types of cements. If someone wanted to get more information about the work of TCL and what it is they're doing with regard to some of these things, how can they do that?
Okay, they can reach, from reaching me, I am on LinkedIn, and they can, of course, reach the brand through our website, TCL. We are very active in social media, so they can post any question on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and we are all very, very accessible. As I mentioned, I'm very open in LinkedIn, for example, and people ask me questions oftentimes, Trinis, why do you do this? Why do you do that? And it is a very engaging conversation, and I learn a lot from the people of Trinidad.
All right, so Mr. Rojo, we want to thank you very much for your time this afternoon. Guillermo Rojo, the General Manager of TCL Limited, and thank you for being on the program.
Thank you very much, Dyke. It's been a real pleasure.
Yes,
See you soon.
Thank you again. I'm looking forward to the launch of that new product in about a month's time. This has been Response to COVID-19, TCL, rebuilding through COVID-19 on TTT News Talk 91.1 FM and on Facebook at TTT Live Online. Thank you for joining us. On behalf of the TTT crew, I'm DK Rostar. Bye for now.